Okay, so I accidentally hit the end recording instead of the pause recording. So this is gonna come up in two parts, and I still couldn't think of the god's name that we were fighting against as Sothasil. But I imagine she's also going to be there. So that was the point I wanted to get across. Then we have House Tilvani, which is intelligence, agility, and endurance, which has a pretty cool new mechanic called Betray. After you play an action, you're allowed to sacrifice a creature in order to play it again. Now, Drain Blood, in my eyes, is a much better version of Maleficent Wreath. I believe that's what it's called. I apologize if I butcher the name, but it is a much better version of that in the sense that you could choose to play it again if you sacrifice a creature. So obviously you're going to be playing this card, any card with Betray, in a deck full of Last Gasps. Yes, thanks PVZ. Thank you. I don't have too much to say on this card. Minus two, pretty good. You have Sheer Point Dragon on the board, minus three, and you can play it again. Now, I don't know I don't know if it means that, say, with Drain Blood, you can play it and then play it again on a different creature. I don't know if that's the case. If you can, this card is amazing. And if you can't, even if it has to target the same creature, I mean, giving a creature minus four for the cost of a creature, which if it's with Last Gasp, you're going to be trying to kill it off anyways. And 4 mana, not bad in the long run. Not bad at all. Especially if it gets rid of something drastically. Not dra- Why do I use the word drastically? Terrifyingly huge. Next we have House Halahu. And from what. Well, I have a little bit of knowledge of House Savani. They're the wizards as it says, the greatest mages. If you've played the Dragonborn DLC, you'll have met one of these Telvanni wizards. House Halahu, I believe this was the house that was shunned because I don't know. I don't remember why. I I don't think this was the house that was involved with the slavery of the Argonians. It might have been this house, but I don't know. I do know is that they were no wait. They had strong ties with the Imperials. They were basically the first house to go alongside the Imperials, and then when they got pushed out of Morrowind, House Halahu fell very far out of power. As a matter of fact, in the Dragonborn DLC, I'm going to be referencing this a lot as this is the closest tie that I have to the houses of Morrowind. You actually have to stop a plot against the chancellor there, who is a member of House Redoran. But the new plot mechanic, I haven't seen this one. I didn't read this one. He just kind of glanced over it at this point. Plot triggers the ability if you played another card that turn. So say you on 3 mana you play 0 cost Curse and then Halahu Sharpshooter. You can essentially deal put -1/-1 on an enemy creature, silence another one and deal 1 damage to it. Obviously, you don't want to curse and then play this, as the curse effect immediately gets removed. But I think this one, I'm not quite too certain how well this is going to do. I think that this is definitely sometimes it's a better Earthbone Spinner. With the stats alone, it definitely is a bit of a better Earthbone Spinner, only if you can get it to trigger. So oftentimes, you're going to be playing this with another card. Now, depending on when you play that card will depend on how much better it is. If you say have to play this on turn 5, and with the 2 costs, well, Earthbone Spinner immediately is better than that because you can play it out sooner. But if you but since you have the ability to play this on turn 3 with a 0 mana curse or 1 cost creature, if you have the Ring of Magicka, all of a sudden this card becomes a lot better. Although in the second scenario, you might be better off with an Earthbone Spinner. It really depends. This to me is a wait and see. Having the Nord tag's not too bad. Oops, I went up. Okay, page. Thank you. Now we have the Tribunal Temple, which is intelligence, willpower, and endurance. So this is, if they were going to have Sothasil as a god, I think it's going to be for the Tribunal Temple. Exalt is basically, in Magica there was another term, I believe it was metamorphosis or mega, I don't know what it was called, but basically you pay a lower cost for a weaker creature, and then later on, if or you can immediately pay upfront the higher your cost and get a stronger creature. That's essentially what this is. You can play it. You can either play it as a 2 mana 2/2 with drain, or you can play it for as a 5 mana 4/4 with drain. So if you're, it's good. It's more of the, I have the ability to go. These cards have the ability to go early and late game. They're going to be one of my favorites because I can play this late game as a much stronger creature, or I can play this in the early game if I need to hold off some aggro. I like Hig the Exalt personally. I think it's going to be my favorite out of all three of them. But we will have to wait and see. I think as a card, Vivek City Pilgrim, very good for what it does. It sacrifices one. It sadly does lose one health and the guard over, say, a Barrow Stalker, which is a close comparison. But in exchange, you can play it as a 4 if you pay 5 mana for it. So whereas late game, Barrow Stalker, it's good for the guard, but against one of these, it's not going to stand a chance, and you get to keep the Vivek City Pilgrim. So I think this is going to be a good card for willpower. I didn't really give my opinion for Drain. Well, I did, actually. Kind of. Sort of. And then lastly, no, not lastly. Now we have Vivek, which is actually, Vivek is the god of this one. Never mind. I stand corrected. I apologize. So I think then Sothasil will probably, I don't know. I think Sothasil is going to be a god, as well as a couple of the other Morrowind Tribunal. But Vivek has me really excited. For 8 mana, you can play it as a 10/10, and while you have a creature with Exalted in play, you can't lose the game. Essentially, it acts as a bit of a it acts as a mechanical heart, but much better, and it's not a one-time trigger. As long as you keep Vivek alive, you essentially cannot die, which means Vivek, unfortunately, gets a huge target painted on it. I think people, when they start, if this card sees a lot of play, they're going to start running a lot of removal. I, for one, am going to be playing it. This is actually a card I am going to craft. That's right, I'm going to be crafting this card. I am very excited for this guy. And lastly, we have House Dagoth, which I've known very little about. According to the description, this was a house that the tribunal attempted to destroy years ago, but it didn't actually work. Now they're all but forgotten to the other houses, but they're very much still alive. And with Dagoth Ur's help, they have the ability to try to come back into this world. And this card, Ash Piercer, here an Ash creature for 5 mana, intelligence, 3/4, deal 3 damage if you hit to a creature. If you have a creature with 5 or more power, here I think that's in play. So I have to see about this. This looks like it could be good in an item deck to deal a little bit of it, to deal some damage. I like that it's to a creature and not to your opponent, as this would get very annoying to see as a finisher. An item deck just charges face, just keeps going face, or instead they build up, build up, build up, build up. They need 3 more damage. Ash Piercer, because they have a 27/27, go ping your face, charge with the 27/27, insta lose. Or they have like 2 of these in their hand, trigger 1 rune, and if you don't get something to deal with at the 24/24 that's coming your way, you're gonna get smashed. A lot of Dagoth Ur cards are going to be with this 5 or more power, which I'm excited to see. and I can't wait to see it. Now, I'm not going to be looking at any other cards for the rest of until the expansion comes out. So, I will not have anything more to say on the matter. I'm going to call this a video here. I will be uploading the title for today in just a few moments. So don't go anywhere. I'll see you guys in a minute.